I welcome you very warmly to my presentation. My name is Marek Matejun, and before I start, I would like to thank the organizers for the invitation and for the opportunity to present my paper as a keynote speech at this conference. It is a great honor and distinction for me. First, I will tell you a little bit about my country, my city, my university, and my own research activity and interests. I am from Poland, which is a middle-sized country in the central of Europe, eastern part of the European Union. Our neighbors are Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, and Russia. Capital of Poland is Warsaw. The distance from Warsaw to London is about 1,500 kilometers, which is about 900 miles. I live in Łódź, which is located in the center of Poland, about 150 kilometers from Warsaw. The name of my city, Łódź, in English means a boat, and it is the third largest city in our country. Łódź is a well-known Polish center of cultural diversity. We are also famous because of National Film School. In recent years, many logistics and outsourcing companies were located and developed in our city. I represent University of Łódź, which was established in 1945 and is one of the biggest universities in Poland, with about 4,000 staff members and about 40,000 students. It consists of 12 faculties, and my organizational unit is Faculty of Management, which was founded in 1994. Here you can see some photos from my university. Number one is the building of my faculty, Faculty of Management. On the next two photos, there are two other faculties, Faculty of Philology on photo number 2, and Faculty of Law and Administration on photo number 3. On the last photo, you will find our library. According to my university work, I am Associate Professor at the Department of Entrepreneurship and Industrial Policy. In 2006, I obtained my PhD degree, and in 2016, habilitation degree, which is a second-level scientific degree in my country. Also in Germany, Czech Republic, and some other countries. My scientific interests are connected with entrepreneurship and small business management, modern concepts and methods of management, and also with research methodology in management sciences. In my scientific work, I cooperate with many researchers from all over the world, for example from United Kingdom, Czech Republic, Belgium, or China. I am also strongly engaged in cooperation with Social Science and Humanities Research Association and Eurasia Research. I hold the position of the president of SSHRA, and for me it is a great adventure with science network and research in international environment. I also invite you to cooperate with us. Please visit our website for further information and become a lifetime member of SSHRA. Also stay in touch with our conferences all over the world. I hope just after the pandemic we will go back to face-to-face meetings. Okay, so let's go directly to the main topic, ethical dilemmas in research methodology of management sciences. The aim of the presentation is to identify, evaluate, classify ethical dilemmas that occur in research work conducted in the discipline of management sciences. The presentation is organized as follows. In the first part, I will present importance of research ethics in the development of management sciences. Then, I will present my own research methodology and research results. The final parts of the presentation are conclusions and references. My presentation should take about 20 minutes. I am sure all of us feel and understand what the management is. In academia, we assume that management focuses on specific human activities related to creation, function, and transformation and interactions of organizations. When talking about organizations, I mean various types of organizations. For example, large global or multinational corporations, national companies, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, public organizations, or even non-profit or social organizations. In general, we can say that management takes place in these various organizations where there is a managerial staff who makes decisions aimed at achieving the organization's goals. In this meaning, management is the action of people, managers, aimed at other people, usually employees, and generates reactions from people to managers' decisions. Because of the specificity of management, because of its specificity, management is located in the group of social sciences, which has many specific implications for research ethics. During research work in management area, ethics is very important, which is underlined by Bebe and other authors. Research ethics, which provides guidelines for the responsible conduct of research, should be based on reciprocity and respectful collaboration between the researcher and organizations and people, resulting from cultivating critical reflection and developing the researcher's awareness. It is important both in qualitative as well as in quantitative research. In the research process, researchers often face specific ethical challenges, which may be understood as seeking for a balance between formal and informal regulations and freedom of research from the other side. Wallace and Sheldon underline lack of research on ethical challenges in management sciences. On the other hand, there is increased importance of ethical issues in many research projects. For example, in Poland, when we apply for research grants from the National Science Center, one of the elements of the application form is a description of the ethical aspects of research. It is then evaluated and is one of the factors determining the award of the grant. Many authors indicate specific ethical challenges in management sciences, related, among others, to voluntary and aware participation in research, securing the interest of organizations and the respondents, anonymity of research results, transparency in the process of collection, analysis, and presentation of research results, and also ensuring research efficiency. These challenges are the source of many ethical dilemmas, which I have also personally faced during my research work. For example, is it ethical to send many unannounced emails to organizations requesting to participate in the research? Is it ethical to use many tools, certificates, awards, or even salaries for respondents in return for participation in the research? Is it ethical to present names of organizations or respondents when I present case studies of good and bad examples of management solutions? And what about questions on sensitive organizational data or personal data? Is it ethical or not? Once I had a situation when a survey participant asked me to attach promotional information about his products to the invitation I sent out to participate in the survey. So, is it ethical to link research to marketing activities? Also, some ethical dilemmas may be caused by invitations to publish with predatory journals. I am sure there are many different ethical dilemmas in research in the area of management sciences. To assess them and to indicate specific groups of these problems, in 2019 I performed my own expert research on the sample of 102 researchers from Poland. All of them were academics professionally engaged in management sciences research. As a research tool, I used electronic expert questionnaire available in the internet. My respondents were mainly assistant or associate professors with relatively long experience in research work in management sciences. Their research interests include human resources management, entrepreneurship, strategic management, innovation management, and many other topics. In the first part of research, I prepared a list of 11 research activities which may cause ethical dilemmas and asked respondents to assess them on the Likert scale from 1, which means this research activity is strictly unethical, to 5, which means it is definitely ethical. Results are presented on this slide. You can see that as definitely unethical, it was assessed to communicate to competitors the weaknesses of market rivals identified in the research. As rather ethical, were assessed various activities related to communication, communicate to companies' suppliers information about the needs of the organizations, communicate to the company management the information about employees, research conducted on unconscious respondents using, for example, shadowing method, or research involving students in return for specific benefits, for example, passing the course or higher grades. 2 activities were assessed on an average level. First is publishing research results in journals of questionable reputation, I mean predatory journals, and the second is linking research to other marketing activities. On the other hand, as rather ethical, were assessed 3 activities. Presenting the names of the organizations in publications and questions about the organization's sensitive data and about demographic characteristics of the respondents. What is very interesting, each of these activity received 1 as a minimum score, which means that each item was assessed as definitely unethical by some experts, and on the other hand, each activity received 5 as a maximum score, which means that it was assessed as definitely ethical by some of experts. So the experts in each case, in each item, for each item, gave extreme marks to each activity. This means a very subjective assessment of the level of ethics of these activities and indicates that they may cause significant ethical dilemmas in the scientific community. In the next step, I performed exploratory factor analysis to identify specific groups of these activities and indicates a specific group of ethical dilemmas in the methodology of management sciences. The analysis identified 4 main factors. The first one expresses ethical dilemmas related to researchers' interference in the organization's activity, including providing managers or other organizations with specific information which may constitute a basis for modification of the business activity, linking the research with marketing activity, or sending unannounced emails with an invitation to participate in the research. I call this factor as interferences for organizations. The second factor expresses ethical dilemmas related to data collection and in scientific research, and involves primarily asking questions about the sensitive data of organizations and respondents. I call this factor as data acquisition. The third factor includes research activities carried out on unconscious respondents or persons strongly dependent on the researchers, for example, on the sample of students. So I call this factor as respondents' engagement. And the last one expresses ethical dilemmas related to the diffusion of research results and includes publishing research results in journals of questionable reputation. In this case, only one item has been assigned to this factor, which indicate the need to develop the measurement scale in the future. Anyway, I call this factor as results diffusion. The quantitative assessment was supplemented by expert comments allowing for an in-depth interpretation of the identified ethical dilemmas. At the same time, these comments indicate a strong contextual character of experts' assessment. As relatively least ethical, the activities under the respondents' engagement factor were assessed. In this case, experts pointed out that research relations with students should motivate them to study and not exempt them from passing. This can be achieved, for example, by linking research to the subject of the courses. It is also important to underline some benefits both for students and for universities that occur from research. This allows students to gain research experience and the universities to meet legal requirements. As rather unethical, the activities under the interferences for organizations factor were assessed. In this case, for experts, ethics depends on the type of results obtained. For example, it is strictly unethical to provide information about an employee's private sphere to the company's management. On the other hand, information about employees can be used to protect them in the workplace. One of the experts asked, what if the facts diagnosed in the research are harmful to the worker? It means threatens his health. Is it unethical to pass on to the company's management the information about such a situation? For example, for experts, anonymity and consent to information transfer in the research is also very important. As rather unethical, the activities under the results diffusion factor were also assessed. According to one expert, these dilemmas may result from insufficient experience of the researchers. On the other hand, experts considered whether the possible consequences of publishing in predatory journals should be taken by researchers or by the editor offices publishing such journals. As rather ethical, the activities under the data acquisition factor were assessed. In this case, it is important to obtain the consent of organization and respondents to the presentation of their names in publications or reports. It is also possible to leave the freedom in terms of data provided by organizations or respondents. However, in this case, researchers have to take into account the lack of completeness of data or a decrease in data quality. In conclusions, I can say that on the basis of my expert research, 4 main groups of ethical dilemmas in management sciences were identified. They are related to, first, engagement of respondents, second, interferences for organization, third, results, diffusion and publication, and fourth, data acquisition and processing. Some of the identified dilemmas are of a general nature, referring to the wider group of social sciences. They result mainly from the use of people's opinion in the research process, the possibility of engaging unconscious or dependent on researchers' respondents in the research process, and disseminating research results in scientific publications of questionable reputation. But on the other hand, experts identify many ethical dilemmas specific to the management sciences. They arise primarily from the relationship between the researcher and the analyzed organization and their managerial staff. They include, among others, informational relations between the parties involved in the research, as well as the acquisition and presentation of sensitive organizational data. These conclusions are consistent with the theoretical findings of other previous authors, while filling the cognitive gap related to insufficient empirical recognition of the specificity of ethical dilemmas in management sciences. Here are references for the whole presentation, and thank you very much for your attention, and I also invite you to future cooperation in the area of management, entrepreneurship, and social sciences methodology. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.